Council meeting for Thursday, March 20th, 2025. For the best place in Iowa to raise a family and grow a business. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jensen?
Here.
Mr. Harper?
Here.
Mr. Miskman? Mayor Abou-Osley?
Present.
Ms. Menzer? Here. Mr. Brandt?
Here.
Mr. Sterned?
Here. Thank you. At this time, we have a moment of silence. Thank you. Before we begin, just one housekeeping item. Item A6 on the agenda is being removed from this evening's agenda. A6 on page 4. Okay. First item this evening is a presentation regarding the hotel market feasibility study. Kim?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, Jessica Junker, who is the consultant from Core Distinctions, was going to be present to present, but she had a family emergency. And so I am going to fill in the best that I can. So forgive me if I'm reading through the slides a little bit, but I'll provide the best information that I have at my fingertips. This is one of the studies that I know is a very important piece to our community. And it had been quite a while since we have, I think our past hotel study was about 15 years old. And as our community has developed and grown, this was one of these studies that we felt was important to our community and even more particularly to the uptown area. So Jessica provided an executive summary and recommendations with this. In that, she has talked about and recommends an upper mid-scaled to upscaled hotels. In this, she was looking for about her thoughts were an 80 to 90 guest rooms with an average size of 138 units to be noted. On average, this size of property would create 8 to 12 full-time jobs. An indirect impact includes all the jobs and incomes generated by the businesses that supply goods and services in hotels. You can see the overall impact over 5 years is $21 million. So that is quite something when you think about what 1 to 2 hotels could do in our community when you think about economic development. With that, the key demand generators, she has listed here our areas of attraction, those things that are bringing individuals into our community, along with what our corporate agencies, such as healthcare. Healthcare is a main part of our community, especially now with having 2 EDs in our community. That is significant when you're thinking about traveling nurses, doctors, specialists. Those are the things that sometimes we don't think about, those individuals that come and they stay here for 30 days, 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever that might be. Manufacturing, so we had reached out with the help of Medco as well and the chamber, reached out to our manufacturers, our distributors, and included our financial institutions. We had quite a few people that came in and visited with Jessica and her team. The other things that the other individuals that we also brought in was the school districts, the Epic Event Center, the Red Cedar Lodge. And then when you think about the area, all the events that we have, and so going through that list of events and talking to those individuals from the chamber to Parks and Rec and all of those that, when we get to come in and celebrate Oktoberfest and things like that. I think even today, the mayor and I met with Matt from Walmart, and one of the things that I didn't realize, and I think both Mayor Nick and I were impressed by, that the Walmart here in Marion is actually the training grounds for quite a few people in the state of Iowa and throughout the nation. And so we're one of the places that they come to. So they have from, if I'm remembering correctly, from February to the 1st of November, they have at least no less than 6 classrooms with 15 people training every day. And so they come and they're here for a week to 2 weeks, depending on what's going on. So that's even information that we didn't have necessarily for Jessica when she was here. So when you think about, that's quite a few people. So there's just a lot of the things that we're doing here are really creating that opportunity for people to come and stay. She had also laid out some locations, and you can see the circular, which is a little hard to see for me. But when you look at, along 7th Avenue, you're going to see the up closer entrance into our uptown corridor. That's where she has the blue star, which would be when we're looking for that uptown hotel. That would be one of the areas within there, or within that circle, that if we were going to engage, we would want to have people focus on these areas. She also supplied us with performas. And when I look at this, the performa to me is pretty impressive. This study is about 155 pages of a study, and it really breaks down what the expectancy is for the first year, second year, third, fourth, and fifth year, and the occupancy rates, which honestly, anything above 60% is a great occupancy rate. And then along with that, what the return on investment is. And when you look at the return on investment from 11.2%, almost 11.3% to almost 15%, that's a pretty good ROI. So I really feel like the performers are quite impressive. This again is just to kind of show you that impact, economic impact that I shared at the very beginning on the first slide. How does that break down? You can see then she's kind of listed the sales tax, the lodging tax, real estate, property tax, restaurant sales, sales revenue, alcohol, tip, all of those kind of things that kind of come into the economic impact that these particular hotels could add to our economy. I think that's it. Jessica, of course, if we'd like to have her come in and, if you have some questions that I am not able to answer, she's happy to answer those for us. You're welcome to test me on this. And if I can't answer, then we'll certainly get an email out to Jessica and get a response.
Is the report being provided to the council members for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we can have Jessica come at a future date to answer
Absolutely.
specific questions. Any questions for Kim?
Yep.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, a couple, Kim. One, I was wondering about the location options. You kind of covered a little bit about that, but related to that, what kind of comments did she have indicating how close it would benefit to having a hotel near the uptown area versus on the outskirts of it?
Yeah, she was very specific that the hotel really needed to be either within the uptown area or at the tip of the uptown corridor. So yes, we would want it. Because we want that walkability, not so much that people are going to get in their cars and drive, that they're going to be walking from the hotel to the restaurants and different things like that.
But on that one slide, I thought you were showing a number of locations along 151 and Highway 100. Those are all options.
Those
are
all
preference is
options, but not necessarily for uptown.
Okay, one more question. The report also talked about the recommendation is for this to be an upscale hotel. and it had comparatives to the Town Place and a few other hotels around. So what is the difference between an upscale hotel and say what the Town Place is? Because I didn't think that was classified as an upscale.
Yeah, it's going to be the price point. And I can't remember if she put those price points in there at the moment, but we can get those price points because it's the difference from a $79 hotel to $159 hotel room. So it's really going to be about the price point.
Well, and I understand that, but if she's using the definition of upscale, to me, that insinuates that there's going to be additional
Amenities.
perks, amenities,
Yeah,
benefits besides just being near the uptown.
Yes.
And so I'd anticipate you got to have something more.
Mhm.
If there's more, obviously, there's a price point that goes with that. I understand that.
Yeah.
But if we look at what the other hotels are that we now have in town, two recent ones,
Mhm.
I'm just saying, how is she recommending this to be different to make it upscale? So
Yep.
you may not have the answer to that, but it's
We
a
can, yeah.
question I would like to get a little more definition about as we start talking about it down the road.
I thought I
Absolutely.
saw that it would include a bar or something.
Yes.
Yeah, like wine and beer. I don't know, that's one thing. I don't know.
One thing,
Yeah.
yes, one amenity.
Go ahead, Grant.
If we can back up to the economic impact,
This one?
yeah, so that's 21 million and change over 5 years.
Correct.
This relates to the location of a new facility. If it's in the uptown, I think, and if you have a sense different than mine, please let me know. But if we situate it in the uptown, that has a higher probability of those dollars being driven in our community versus
Yep.
if we're out on Highway 100,
Correct.
we don't have that sort of captured audience. So it nets out not only to drive business or traffic into the Marion businesses, but also then we more directly reap a larger percentage of that 21 million.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, thanks, Kim.
Awesome. Thank you.
Next is Seth with the Aquatic Center project update.
Mayor, Council, we're going to be providing an update to the Aquatic Center project in Willowwood Park. We do have here today Waterjet Aquatics, and we'll have Lauren Osborne come up to be able to provide a majority of the update. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Mayor, City Council, staff, we appreciate you giving us the opportunity to give you this update today. We talk about the Aquatic Center and Willowwood, and there's multiple elements to that, so let's just jump right into it. Firstly, we conducted public engagement related to Willowwood Park in January 2025. Walking out of that public input process, there are 5 key elements to the park and the redevelopment of it that we are continuing to carry forward into concept development, and that your general public will see tonight at the open house that begins here at 6 p.m. Those elements are trails and paths, a playground, splash pad, farmers market, and pavilions and shelters. And again, these are going to be high priority areas or items to continue to explore when it comes to development of Willowwood Park. Part of this team is Confluence. Confluence is working with us and your community very closely and has developed 3 concept plans or concept layouts for the development of Willowwood Park. The community is going to be able to see these tonight and respond to them. We did come out of a steering committee meeting for this project just prior to this council meeting, so both groups are going to be able to respond to that today. Transitioning a little bit, you have the existing swimming pool within Willowwood Park. As a part of this process, we wanted to relook at the pool and get a feeling for where that facility's life may be today. Up on the screen, it may be hard to see. I believe you have it in front of you. We wanted to reiterate that there's several key elements to the facility that are not operable today and that have been identified as either will not be operable in the future or need repair and improvement. Underwater lights are not operable currently in the swimming pool. The splash pad is not operable. The concession stand is closed. Overhead lights that are located on the pool deck are currently need to be replaced so that they are up and functional. Not all showers are operational within this complex. There's concrete repair and work that happens annually, both on the deck and in the pool basin. That is consistent with what we saw back in 2021. And of course, as you know, there's lack of shade and there's a need for more deck chairs at the existing swimming pool. Some of those are more major than others, but that's just a quick run view of where you're at today. We also wanted to understand what was the maintenance or has been the maintenance at this facility over time. Staff has done an amazing job in keeping a log of maintenance and repairs that occur at this facility. We have that back to 2012. There are a few dates, though, that really kind of come to the top regarding maintenance items that we did not necessarily know about at the time, and or they were more substantial in their dollar amounts. You can see in 2023, nearly $165,000 was spent just on sandblasting, painting the pool basins, and then miscellaneous repairs throughout the complex. That is above and beyond typical normal expenditures for a complex like this. The moral of the story is you have nearly a 40-year-old pool. We have maintenance items that are ongoing and increasing, and we anticipate that to continue. As you move forward, there's going to continue to be expenditure dollars for maintenance and repair at this facility. We also wanted to do a quick review of the major likelihood items that are going to occur. You know, what is the risk of those items? We can talk more in depth about this if you like, but we wanted to understand is what is the likelihood of some of these maintenance items to occur over the next 5 years, and what is their impact to the continued operation of the swimming facility? And by that, we mean, is it going to close the facility? And if so, to what degree is it going to close it? Are we talking a few hours? Are we talking a few days? Are we talking in perpetuity until it is corrected and it's maybe a more lengthy process? We've broken this down into a graph that is more easily digestible a bit. And is something likely or unlikely to occur? So anywhere that you see an asterisk, that has been identified that over the next 5 years, this item is likely or very likely to occur. We have the severity of impact, meaning it's a high likelihood and it's substantially going to impact the operation, followed by the magnitude of cost. I do want to point out that our team was at the swimming pool today to look at some concrete concerns that have popped up regarding the pool basin. If you take a look at concrete repair, that deck and pool line item, we would actually like to go ahead and just double that. You have some conditions that have worsened since the last time we saw it. So we know that the pool basin's conditions are a little bit worse and deteriorating. So it's something to be aware of. So why this project? Seth, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so really looking at the risk matrix, that's just one data point element. Really, when we're doing this project, this is a replacement project for an existing facility. We have a Willowwood pool. When it was first built in 1986, we had a population around 20,000. Since then, we've doubled in size. And so really we're seeing a facility that's really not serving the needs of the community. And so we're looking at a facility that one is addressing those needs, not just for all the daycares that we provide swimming for at our existing facilities, but for all ages and abilities for aquatics. And also with the opportunity to be able to serve a wider audience, not just for the community, but also for visitors outside.
Right now, the team is working on multiple components. We're going to touch on a few of them today. Of course, the aquatic center at between 31st and 35th and Munir, that is one piece of this. Dry recreation at this site is another piece. Streets and street infrastructure and improvements, expansions is another, and followed by Willowwood Park redevelopment. I'm going to touch on a few of these today. At the aquatic center site, what we are working through is site development and a site plan on the property. What we've been working with so far is a concept. We are now taking that concept and applying it to the site. We do have some preliminary topo surveys back, and that is what we are working with to site adapt the concept that we've been working with. As we go through this process, we'll be utilizing all the information, including the topography, including the elevations that are at this site, to address and really determine where is this complex going to go and where are the other amenities going to be located on this site. Dry recreation components, we have narrowed down some of these items. We spoke to the steering committee earlier today. We'll speak to your public later after this meeting about what dry components may be incorporated in this complex. You may notice that this is a high active offering here, and that is the intent of this location. Pickleball, playground, maybe some pavilions with various options, mini golf, sand volleyball, multi-purpose pitch, terrace seating. This is a flavor of what we're talking about regarding the character of this location. At the end of the day, with the aquatic center and dry recreation, the goal of this is to be active, healthy, and serving the families as Mayor, you open this meeting with. So again, we're going to be seeking input regarding dry recreation. Open house begins here in just a moment. We'll head over there. We would love to see you over there to continue this discussion. There's an online survey that is available effective today. You may have seen that gone out. It will be live through the 31st regarding all these components. The city will be at the showcase at the Marion YMCA in late April, and then staff is going to be doing a public walkthrough of Willowwood Pool on May 3rd to open up the doors and allow the general public to take a look at the conditions of the existing pool. I think that's a great method to get them educated quickly. As we go through this, we're going to be focusing on Willowwood Park redevelopment, dry recreation at the Aquatic Center site, re-education of the Aquatic Center project as a whole, and then starting to talk about programs and how your community looks to utilize the Aquatic Center. Overall, we're on track with schedule. The Aquatic Center is going to get wrapped up first with schematic design later this month, followed by the streets project at the Munir site and the Willowwood Park in early April, followed by the recreation at the Aquatic Center site in later April. And you can see here the deadlines and dates we have set for 30% construction documents, a draft set of 60% construction documents, followed by late July of the final 60% construction documents. This project is going through 60% construction documents, and we will end there prior to your vote. Next steps, we've talked about a lot of this. As you are well aware, CMAR process is completed. A CMAR has been selected. The teams will be coordinating a kickoff meeting here very soon, and we're working through schematic design items now. And as we move forward, working through finishing up schematic design and heading into construction documents. So that's a high-level overview of a really exciting big project. I open it up for discussion, and if not now, maybe we do it next door, but I will give the floor over.
For purposes of the public, would you just explain what CMAR is?
It's a construction manager at risk is what it stands for, and this group is being brought on really to work with the consultant team and the design team, and their focus right now is going to be guiding construction methods, and really their critical focus is on developing costs for development at Willowwood Park and at the Aquatic Center site, including dry recreation.
Questions? Go ahead, Grant.
Back to the slide that shows the next steps, the milestones. Regarding the 60% construction docs and final pricing, does that set the actual cost that the construction manager at risk is going to be obligated to meet? I guess let me ask maybe a different question, but it gets to the same point. We get the 60% construction docs and final pricing set. Is there any further elaboration of that cost profile that we will have to adjust to in the project? In other words, how stable is that going to be? What I'm trying to ferret out is there any time frame after July that we may have to accommodate some emergent costs that were unanticipated?
The answer to that is we do not want to have to do that. So we're doing all this work ahead of time. Normally, you wouldn't bring a construction manager at risk in at this point because with this particular one, we want to be very certain that when we go to the voters that we have a solid number. And we've stressed that from the very beginning with Water's Edge, along with construction manager risk. All the people that need to hear it have heard it. Because that is the last thing that we want to do is come back and have to ask for additional dollars. So by bringing construction manager on, at risk on early, you're bringing in those contractors that do this kind of work that can, instead of doing value, lots of times you're very familiar with value engineering. We're doing value engineering after the bid project because now we have to get down to this number. We're actually going to be doing this ahead of time and bringing in those individuals to help make sure that we are crossing all the T's, dotting the I's, just to ensure and have confidence in what we're taking to the public.
So the manager at risk is part of this activity now.
Mhm.
I'm going to assume that they're going to build in a management reserve or a contingency
Correct,
so that it can in fact then buffer emergent
correct.
adjustments to either the supply chain or labor costs that need to be accounted for.
Correct.
Okay, all right, thanks.
You're welcome.
No, my comment was going to be in the same arena. When are we going to get the final cost? But I mean, the whole goal here, I actually had discussions with Ryan, how far to go with the construction documents.
Right.
Do we really need to go to 60% or is 30% enough? And so for anybody listening, and we're at these meetings, they just need to understand that, and I got convinced that we need to go this far to make sure this is going to be a pretty large bond vote.
Correct.
So everybody needs to clearly understand what the impact is going to be on their property tax bill for this and with a high degree of certainty. So we are not going to have 100% confidence level, but we're going to be somewhere, I would guess, in that 90% range that we're plus or minus. That range has now got narrowed a lot
Exactly.
narrower. And so at least we're much more comfortable. The number we go in with is going to be very, very close to what we're going to need to issue bonds for. So
Correct.
we're a lot better off than we would have been, 6 months or a year from now. And I think we're doing a good job of including the roads and everything else that's going to be needed to actually complete this project. So
Exactly.
yeah, going 60%, I guess I have certainly full confidence in that we're going to get to a pretty accurate number. So
Yes, the other part of this too is if, depending on what what everyone's palate is, we want to be able to then, if we need to phase anything that we're developing and structuring the design and the layout of the aquatic center, both the wet and the dry activities, that if we would need to phase anything out, that we're not having to double, 5 years later, we're going to build this part of it and we're not having to tear out $150,000 worth of work that was done and then so all of these things are in our minds as to how can we do this with the full project? And if we have to piece it out, then how do we do that without throwing away dollars and equipment? So those are the kind of things that bringing the construction manager on at risk early on will also help us do that. So we're not redesigning later either. So
one more point to maybe clarify is the number of items were showing up there on what could be in this entire area. So is it my understanding that all of those are not going to happen as part of this bond vote, but maybe just some of them? Or are you talking about doing all of those at once with the terraced area, the pickleball courts? I mean, so I guess I'm not 100% clear on what you're going to be including in this bond vote at this point in time.
And that's going to be part of the feedback that we're looking for tonight and part of the survey is we want people to prioritize rank so that we do have that data. So to know what to put in for the dry recreation items, because we're not include everything. And then some of it could be phased too.
Gotcha.
So
that's the phasing part you're talking about, Kim,
yeah,
with all of those other amenities that'll be in that. I mean, we're talking about,
But even the aquatic center.
yeah.
Yeah,
Even the aquatics part.
yes,
no, I know the
That can be-
aquatics
That'd
part.
be by component also.
yes.
Well,
And-
that could, yeah, because
Yeah.
at one point in time, we talked about whether the wave pool needed to be in there or not. That was that discussion 2 years ago, which we were not completely all in favor of.
Correct.
But I understand what you're doing. So you're getting more feedback on what should be included.
Yeah, we want a full vision of what these two parks are going to look like.
Okay.
And so
Yep. And help us prioritize what is important to our community members. What are those top priorities that we have to have these, we want to have these, we'd like to have these. So what are all of those things? So that's all the work that we're going to be doing up through
So-
July.
Back to the 60% threshold. Honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of work to achieve that level of clarity and certainty.
Mhm.
My question is it then substantially more work to bring it to a 70 or 75%
That's a-
estimate?
Yeah, that's a good
I guess,
question.
because the higher we go now, the less risk there's going to be conveyed into the project at a later date. So I guess I would just say if it doesn't completely blow the near-term budget on this, I'd like to see probably some work to get us closer to 70 or 75%.
We've already had this discussion and in that vote, we voted on the
The
60%.
60%, yep.
I'm just questioning if we're being aggressive enough or not.
Well, it's significantly more cost.
Yeah, and,
right?
and we're on staff's part, we're very, very confident about the 60%. And it's going to be a very easy, especially with the construction manager at risk. We're going to have really good numbers and be able to turn around from depending on the results of the bond referendum. If it does pass, we'll be able to turn around pretty fast from the 60 to 90 to full construction documents. So from a timeline perspective, we would still be able to break ground in 2026 and have a completed project in 2027 for the aquatic center.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing this proceed. Next item is our first public forum. We have two public forums on the agenda. First one is for comments on topics that are listed on the agenda but not part of a public hearing. There will be another public forum at the end of the meeting for any other comments. If anyone has any comments regarding an item that has a public hearing, there will be time during the public hearing for comments. Before we take comments, I would like to review the rules of procedure for addressing the city council. Please fill out the yellow card at the end of the table if you want to address the council and hand it to the city clerk before you speak. Please do not approach the dais where the council is sitting. If you have handouts, please submit them to the city clerk for distribution to the council. Once you're called forward, please step up to the podium, speak into the microphone. These meetings are recorded. And all persons wishing to speak will be provided a maximum of 5 minutes to do so. Please do not engage in conduct or speech that is imminently threatening to any person, which incites violence or which is obscene. Please keep all comments regarding the pertinent to the topic at hand and not regarding any individual. Please avoid repeating comments or points that have been made by other people addressing the council. Please do not engage in conduct that disrupts the orderly progress of the meeting or engage in speech or conduct that interferes with other people's ability to participate in the meeting. Failure to adhere to the guidelines or engaging in disruptive speech or behavior will, after a warning, result in removal from the meeting. Appreciate everyone's adherence to these guidelines. And we'll open up the first public forum for comments. If anyone's here to address council on any topic that is on the agenda but not part of a public hearing, please come forward. If you have comments on anything that's on the agenda but not part of a public hearing? Yes, come on forward. Please state your name and address and proceed.
Mayor, Council, my name is Mike Esker, and I'm here on behalf of Troy Hart and the Hart Hospitality Group, which is part of the hotel out at Easttown Crossing, which just opened about 90 days ago. Troy got a hold of he got the study and took a look at it, and I just wanted to, this is very thick, 173 pages of stuff. And so he just wanted to offer just a couple thoughts, but in the interest of time, we're not going to go through a lot of that, but he did say there was a lot of information in there that he wasn't, he had a lot of respect for the group, the Core Extinction Group that did the study, but some of the assumptions he felt that were used, from the cost. Some of the other assumptions may or may not have reached the same conclusion that the study reached. And so he is available. He was not contacted, or anybody from the group was not contacted as part of this study to get information, but he's very willing to share occupancy, whatever information is needed from the current hotel that just opened to help the council, properly make decisions as you're looking forward to this. So again, there was a lot of assumptions. The name Cobblestone Inn and Suites or something was in the study. He wasn't sure the definition of upscale, mid-scale, whatever, but that was referenced in the study. But anyway, Troy's available. And so at some point in time, if you're interested in having to come down, share current data, actual real life data as you're looking at a performer. For most of us have put a performer together. There's a lot of assumptions that can heavily sway an end result on those things. And so anyway, just wanted to offer that up as information available to help as you're continuing to make these decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Esker. Anyone else to address council? Please come forward. Okay, we'll close this part of the meeting and proceed to the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as follows. This will be items A1 through E5, resolutions 32295 through 32303.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Items A1 through E5, resolutions 32295 through 32303. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. For the next part of the meeting, I will turn over the meeting to the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Menser.
Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve the consent agenda with Mayor Abu Asali's abstention. This will be item D1, resolution number 32304, which is for the purchase of an aerial truck.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda with the mayor's abstention, item D1, which is resolution 32304. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion carries with one abstention.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. I move to direct staff to reissue a request for proposals regarding the disposition of the Marion Airport runway property.
Second.
Okay, I need to turn over the meeting to the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem for this one also, so.
It's been moved and seconded to direct staff to reissue a request for proposal regarding the disposition of the Marion Airport runway project. Do we have any discussion?
Your Honor. City staff just wanted to make sure that we pointed out that, as you are aware, we previously issued an RFP seeking proposals to purchase the Marion Airport runway. Specifically, those proposals were to have the intent to continue using the runway for airport purposes. The city did not receive any responses by the deadline or any responses that met the posted criteria. Since the city is legally required to sell the property for fair market value, we are opting to use the RFP process to establish that fair market value. And so the city staff is recommending that we revise and reissue the RFP with new criteria in order to meet our goals of fulfilling the city's legal obligations, as well as selling the property to a buyer who intends to continue using the property as a runway.
Thank you for that explanation. Any questions for staff or any quick discussion? Right. It has been moved and seconded to direct staff to reissue the request. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion carries with the mayor's abstention.
Thank you. Next item is a public hearing on the proposal to enter into an essential purpose loan agreement. Maybe we have a presentation. Thanks, Brian.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. So this is the first of 3 public hearings tonight for our annual capital improvement bond issuance.
Are you gonna address all three of them at the same time, or?
I will, yes, I can, yes. And if there's any comments in between, I can address, but yeah, I will go over all of them.
Okay, thank you.
This is our standard annual capital improvement program issuance. It should look very familiar with the work that we've done up to date with council on our budget work session, with our capital improvement program updates. So the projects that you'll see for the three public hearings are all of the projects that are marked as geo bond issuance in the draft CIP. And so by state code, we do need to separate these by purpose. So that's why that's why there's three public hearings, one for essential purpose, and then because of the in the state code, there is limits on the individual loan agreements for general corporate purpose. You'll see two loan agreements there. So if you want to go back a slide, sorry, or go back to the first one, yep. And so this is to enter into the loan agreement. The next steps would be for council to approve the preliminary official statement, then moving towards the actual bond issuance documents, with closing of the funds expected around end of May, start of June time. So if there's any questions on that?
Okay, so why don't we, since we're in the public hearing portion, we'll see if anyone has any comments to address the council with regard to that essential purpose loan agreement, then we'll move on, okay? If anyone's here to address council, either in favor or in opposition to this measure, please come forward at this time. Okay, we'll ask the staff if you've received comments outside the meeting.
I have not.
I have not.
Please note that for the public record. And then if you want to move on to the next one, we'll open the public hearing for the general purpose loan agreement. And then we'll do questions to you with the motion, okay? So
Yeah, so
number one.
Yep, so like I was saying, because of state code, these are the projects that fit under the general purpose category. Again, should look very familiar, so.
Okay, so this is specifically for those two projects?
Yes.
Okay, so just for purpose of the public.
Yep.
For the Lau Park Arts and Environment Center roof replacement, 500,000, and City Hall Fund building generator, 350,000. Okay, if anyone is here to address council, either in favor or in opposition to this measure, please come forward. Okay, we'll ask the staff again if you've received comments outside the meeting.
I have not.
Brian?
I have not.
Okay, please note that for the record, and we'll close this public hearing. We'll move on to the agreement number 2 for general purpose loan.
So again, because of the limits for the individual loan agreements by state code, so this project is its own loan agreement. This is the City Hall reorganization for 643,000. All of these will be one bond issuance. It's just by state code, we need to split them up by separate loan agreements.
Okay. If anyone is here to address council either in favor or in opposition to this measure, the public hearing is now open. Please come forward. Okay, again, we'll ask if you've received comments outside the meeting.
I have not.
No, I have not.
Okay, thank you. Note that for the record. We'll close this part of the public hearing. Then we'll do the resolution, and then if anyone has questions for Brian, we'll take those. Yes.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 32305 taking additional action on proposals to enter into loan agreements, combining loan agreements, and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the same.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32305, taking additional action on proposals to enter into loan agreements, combining loan agreements, and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the same. Now, discussion, questions for Brian? Go ahead.
Just for clarity, what is the scope of the city hall reorganization? What does that project encompass?
That would be essentially moving community development, engineering, so building, planning, all down, and IT down here on the first floor. The reason for that is most of our activity with our residents and public coming in, and then the CMO office, finance, then would move upstairs. So it definitely is doing some rearranging. We have some conference rooms that we'd want to form here on the lower level. Just painting, really taking care of reviving our floors, all those different things that come in. Not necessarily a major remodel per se, but there will be some wall structures that will be moved.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Steve?
I think maybe there's one aspect of that you might have not talked about that I think is part of the plan, and that's additional security.
Correct.
So that's part of it, on how to be able to control that and react to that.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Card access, those types of things.
Any additional discussion or questions for Brian? Okay, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving resolution number 32305, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. Thank you, Brian.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-03, establishing chapter 214 of the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding mobile food units, second consideration.
Second?
Been moved and seconded to approve the second consideration of ordinance number 25-03, establishing chapter 214 of the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding mobile food units. In other words, food trucks. Discussion. Okay, all those in favor of approving ordinance number 25-03, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. Next item is a public hearing regarding Marion Disaster Recovery Tree Project. Okay, we have a presentation from Mike.
Yes, Your Honor. So we do need to hold the public hearing for this. We did have a good turnout for the bids. Unfortunately, on the next item, we're actually requesting denial of the bids. This is a federal grant, and so we're getting help with ECOG and IEDA. And with that, we found out there was two instances where we needed to include a section 3 about some hiring principles that the contractor needs to abide by. And then there's also a newspaper publication that's not required per state bid, but is required based on the funding that we're getting that is going to supplement this payment. So we need to figure out how we can rework the timeline of this, if we can get this turned around so that we can still have a spring planting, or if we need to pivot and have just a larger fall planting. But at this point, based on the recommendation from the people that are ultimately going to pay for the majority of this, they are recommending that we deny this. So we still do need to have the public hearing as we've published for it, but that's the recommendation to move forward.
Okay, so we should take public comment at this time?
Yep.
Okay, the public hearing is open. If anyone is here to address council, either in favor or in opposition to this measure, please come forward. Okay, seeing no one's coming forward, we'll ask staff if you've received any comments outside the meeting.
I have not.
Mike?
Nope.
Have not?
We have not, other than from our
Okay,
grantees that say this is what we should do.
okay. We'll close the public hearing and then proceed to the motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the project calendar regarding the Marion Disaster Recovery Tree Project as follows. Resolutions 32307 through 32308.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the project calendar regarding Marion Disaster Recovery Tree Project, including resolutions 32307 through 32308. Any discussion? We'll vote. All those in favor of approving resolutions 32307 through 32308, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no.
No.
Okay, the motion is defeated.
Mayor, move to approve ordinance number 25-02, approving amendment to section 122-9A of the Marion Code of Ordinances related to writing on sidewalks. This will be the final consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 25-02, approving amendment to section 122-9A of the Code of Ordinances relating to writing on sidewalks. This is the final consideration. Discussion?
Your Honor, I just want to comment that there is a master plan that we're coming up with on where the signs and where the logos go. We're working on our uptown partners with some sicknesses and vacations. We were not able to get that done as quickly as possible. But with this change, then we'll bring that plan back to City Council for consideration before we go out and implement that.
It's good to know. Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the final consideration of ordinance number 25-02, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-04, approving amendment to section 313-10.6E of the Marion Code of Ordinances related to prohibited parking, and this is the second consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 25-04, approving the amendment to section 313-10.6E of the Code of Ordinances related to prohibited parking. Discussion. All those in favor of ordinance number 25-04, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. The next item is a public hearing regarding the Oakshade Cemetery Crypt Wall Repair Project. We'll open the public hearing and take our presentation from Mike.
Yes, Your Honor. So if you recall, we bid this once prior and the estimate came in much higher, or the bid came in much higher than the estimate. What this is doing is removing that front wall in the cemetery. We then have to temporarily relocate the remains, and then we would have Rachi then put the wall back in. As if you look out there, it's going to fall over. So this is something that needs to be done. Has a late start date of 5/27/25, completion date of 9/26/25, $300 per day in liquidated damages. We did receive one bid from Rachi Construction at $315,000, and we are recommending proceeding with this project.
Okay, we'll come back to comments with the motion. At this time, the public hearing is open. If anyone is here to address council either in favor or in opposition to this measure, please come forward. Okay, we'll ask the staff if you received comments outside the meeting.
I have not.
Mike,
Nope,
you have not?
we have not.
Okay, thank you. We will then close the public hearing and proceed to the motion.
Your Honor, I move to approve the project calendar regarding the Oakshade Cemetery Crypt Wall Repair Project rebid as follows. This encompasses resolutions number 32-309 through 32-310.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the project calendar for the Oakshade Cemetery Crypt Wall Repair Project, including resolutions 32309 through 32310. Discussion, questions from Mike? There's something, go ahead.
So does the cost like you mentioned, we have to, for the sites that are part of, that have to be moved, is that included in this cost or will that be additional costs to this project?
From what I understand, that's something that's done separately. That's not done by Rachi. Because it actually has to be done by someone who's qualified to do that.
It's going to be a question. So will we see potentially then another request for this, or is that something that falls into scopes as far as cost of this project? I know it has to happen, but it's not something you learn a lot about, is cemetery movement.
Disinterment.
I would defer to Parks on where that's gonna fall into the project. I got the order saying we can do it, but I don't know the logistics.
So that's gonna be included in this cost, and that's being handled by Wilbur Vault, and that's gonna be supervised by Murdoch Funeral Homes.
Okay, so that is included in the 315.
Correct.
Well, that's a regulated thing, the disinterment of remains and all that. So I'm sure that it's a process they have to follow and it's all included in this bid.
That's correct.
Okay. I think that was the question, right? Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, we'll proceed with the vote. All those in favor of approving the project calendar for the Oakshade Cemetery Crypt Wall Repair Project, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion's been approved. The next item is a public comment period regarding the request to install stop sign for westbound traffic on Katz Drive east of the driveway approach for 3701 Katz Drive. You have a presentation on this, Mike?
Yes, Your Honor. So this is a petition that we received that did go through PAC, Traffic Advisory Committee at this intersection. As you can see, there's an existing stop sign as you leave the Mercy campus, as you're going northbound. With the new emergency room access from the east, there's a stop sign for eastbound. They believe that one time there was one here for westbound. We didn't find any record of that on Google Maps. But with the confusion that could happen at that intersection, the proximity to the traffic signal, we are recommending to install that additional stop sign to prevent any crashes in the future.
Okay, thank you. If anyone's here to address council on this measure, please come forward. Did you receive any comments outside the meeting?
I have not.
Mike?
I did not.
Thank you. Okay, we'll close the public comment period and proceed to the motion. Would you please make it?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the Traffic Advisory Committee report regarding the installation of a stop sign for westbound traffic on Katz Drive, east of the driveway approach for 3701 Katz Drive. And this is brought by Gina Pennington, the Director of Mercy Care, Marion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the Traffic Advisory Committee report regarding the installation of the stop sign for westbound traffic on Katz Drive, east of the driveway approach for 3701 Katz Drive. Any discussion on receiving and filing the report? All those in favor of receiving and filing the report from TAC, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 32311, approving the installation of a stop sign for westbound traffic on Katz Drive east of the driveway approach for 3701 Katz Drive.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32311, approving the installation of the stop sign for westbound traffic on Katz Drive east of the driveway approach for 3701 Katz Drive. Discussion? All those in favor of approving resolution number 32311, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion is approved. The next item is a public comment period regarding the request to add a no parking zone on the east side of 9th Street between the driveways of 3013 and 3015 9th Street. We have a presentation, Mike.
Yes, Your Honor. So this was one of the areas, the first area that we did of no parking after the fire apparatus could not make it down Third Street. So this is north of 29th Avenue, south of 33rd. So the no parking is actually on the west side of the road. What they're finding is between these two driveways, there's actually 11 or 13 foot of curb. And with students going to Linmar, they often try and squeeze a small car between that driveway, making it difficult for them to get in and out of that apartment complex. So they're asking us just to add a sign of no parking between driveways. So we are in concurrence with that recommendation. It still might be a call that the PD gets often, but at least there's a sign to help.
Okay, thank you. At this time, the public comment period is open. If anyone's here to address council on this measure, please come forward. And we'll ask the staff if we received comments outside the meeting.
We did receive one email in advance of the meeting from Michelle Katmeyer at 311 9th Street. Wrote in support of the measure.
Okay, thank you. Mike, did you receive anything?
Same thing.
Okay. With that, we'll close the public hearing, proceed to the motion, or the public comment period, proceed to the motion.
Isn't on the page yet. Mayor, I move to receive and file traffic advisory committee report regarding the addition of a no parking zone on the east side of 9th Street between the driveways of 3013 and 3015 9th Street.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to receive and file the traffic advisory committee report regarding the addition of the no parking zone on the east side of 9th Street between the driveways of 3013 and 3015 9th Street. Discussion? All those in favor of receiving and filing the traffic advisory committee report, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion is approved.
Mayor, move to approve resolution number 32312, approving the establishment of a no parking zone on the east side of 9th Street between the driveways of 3013 and 3015 9th Street.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32312, approving establishment of a no parking zone on the east side of 9th Street between the driveways of 3013 and 3015 9th Street. Discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 32312, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion is approved. The next item is a public hearing regarding the Marion 2045 plan for the comprehensive plan update. Do we have a presentation? Welcome, Charlie.
Mayor, Council, good to see you again. Charlie Kell with RDG Planning and Design. As we spoke on Tuesday, today is the wrap up of a 14-month process or so for the Marion 2045 Comprehensive Plan. A lot of public input went into the document, a lot of comments and meetings with our 20-person visioning committee, and a lot of good information to move forward with and jump into implementation going forward. Happy to answer any detailed questions you have about the plan. If you recall, on Tuesday, the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission was approval, subject to a change to the Tower Terrace Road, Albernet Road growth area land use plan that was shifting the estate residential a little bit to the north and adding more mixed use closer to Tower Terrace Road in that image. So,
Okay. If you would just stick around for questions when we get to the resolution. The public hearing is now open. If anyone is here to address council, either in favor or in opposition to this measure, please come forward. Okay, seeing no one's coming forward, we'll ask the staff if we've received any comments outside the meeting.
I have not received any.
I have not received any.
Thank you. Okay, note that for the record, we'll close the public hearing and take the resolution.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 32313, adopting the Marion 2045, a plan to reach new heights comprehensive plan. This is from the city of Marion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32313, adopting the Marion 2045 comprehensive plan update. Discussion, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And questions for Charlie?
No, I think not for Charlie, but maybe for Nicole or Kim. What's the frequency that we're going to update this going forward? How often?
2045?
At least review it.
We would take a look at it, ideally about 10, 15 years down the road, kind of almost that kind of midway point in a sense, just to make sure we are on the right track. But full review again, would be closer to that 2040, getting into that 2045 kind of range.
And the only thing I would add to that, any actionable items, those types, any ordinance changes, those types of things, design standards, those types of things, you're going to see moratorium. You're going to see those as we continue to move forward. This is one of those first steps to complete and approve the comp plan. Any other actionable items we'll continue to bring to you and update you throughout these years. So when we get, if we're starting to see rezoning different than what's in the comp plan, those types of things, we would bring those to you for conversation. Is this something that we need to amend along the way and not necessarily wait 10 or 12 years? So we'll keep bringing information to you along the way.
It's hard to predict what circumstances
Exactly.
might dictate that, but if we've done our job, we shouldn't have to. Ideally, shouldn't have to do much changing to it. But again, circumstances could dictate differently, and how the city grows and develops, or how different trends happen, or, we may need to adjust it. But I, for one, am just thrilled that we're at this point. This has been needed for a long time. It's been a lot of work, and it's been a really good process. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been involved and for the way it was done. And I think it's really setting a foundation for a really positive path for the city to grow and develop. And again, in 20 years from now, for all of us to look back and be proud of how we did it, and the way that we established the path for the city to grow and develop in a way that's adding value, and that's continuing to make it a place that people want to be. So thank you for your work. Any other questions or discussion, comments? Okay, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving resolution number 32313, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, this time we have the second public forum, which is a time set aside for comments on any topic from members of the public. If you're here to address council, please come forward. Okay, seeing no one is coming forward, we will close this part of the meeting and proceed to council comments. We'll start with Councilmember Jensen.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Just one thing, Kim, I didn't say it during the proper section of the agenda, but I am really thrilled with this heat matrix or heat map relative to what might worry us relative to the existing pool. So I like that. And I think it will serve many conversations going forward. So thanks.
This is a little in advance, but it'll come up fast. I put it on the calendars, but the Marion City Showcase And Healthy Kids Day at the Marion YMCA, free and open to the public, is Saturday, April 26th from 9 until noon. So mark your calendars with more information to come. And there will be a 1 mile family fun run that will be for that is also free, but we just ask that you register so we know numbers, with lots of fun games.
No one mentioned state of the city, so I will. What's that?
We're leaving that for you.
Oh, no. I was really happy with how the state of the city turned out. 10 years ago, we started with about 200 people at the Long Branch for that event, and has grown to 630 people because of the excitement that's out there over what's going on in Marion. I hear it everywhere I go. I hear it every day. And it was I think you all know that I put a lot of time into developing that speech. Spend the better part of 2 months every weekend writing that speech, because I really believe in the importance of it, not only for us to celebrate our work and help us realize the impact we're making as a team, but also to generate excitement and momentum in the region, and to get people interested in continuing to do projects here in Marion and help them see the potential and the opportunity. So it addresses different audiences, and this was for me was a really important way to celebrate everything that we were doing. And I appreciate the card that I received from the staff. Thank you. That was very much appreciated. I want to reiterate my sort of call to action or challenge at the end of the speech. It was to double down on Team Marion. When I started using that concept or that term several years ago, three years ago or so, it was because I kind of realized that everything that had happened here in Marion, all the growth and all the great development we've had, that amazing list of accomplishments in 10 years would not even be nearly as long a list as it is if we weren't all working together as a community, not just as a city team, but the city team and our community partners and the community as a whole. And if we hadn't engaged everyone in everything that we were doing the way that we have, if we hadn't made it a citywide effort to move our community forward. Everyone has great ideas. I think we all have great ideas. We all have a vision. I think many of us share the same vision of where we see our city going, but ideas are just ideas. And it takes the work and effort of everyone working together, being on the same page to truly make things happen and to bring the reality what we've seen, which is amazing, and it's been recognized across the state. And to think of what we've done in 10 years, it just would not have happened had we not collaborated together with our entire community. And everyone, and this is what I tell everyone all the time when I'm speaking in the region, we all have a different piece of every project, whether it's the city or Metco or the chamber or community volunteers or council, whoever it is, we all play a role somehow, some way in every project that we've seen. And that's why we've accomplished so much. So let's recommit ourselves to Team Marion and to continue the progress that we're making. I really feel like we are just at the beginning of a really amazing period. We've done all the groundwork and laid a foundation for some amazing things to happen. I think that we're going to see here in the next few years. So thank you everyone for continuing to be invested in the team and for all your hard work. And with that, we're adjourned. No closed session this time. And enjoy your evening.